Dear seekers of truth, welcome back on our channel. Somebody needs to remind Prince Harry that royalty insists a little mystery, some history, and a touch of tragic mystery beneath glittering layers of modern royale. Because today, we are going to unmask a long-hidden truth beneath the glitzy new world of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. Well, gather round, because the royal scandal of the hour belongs to Prince Harry and Meghan, and its gossip is hot. Well, because we are about to dive into the latest installment of the royal soap opera. However, it seems Harry's troubled background has caught up with him as the US has asked questions over his visa, with suspicions surfacing that he may be lying about his drug past. A prince with such privilege perhaps misleading immigration authorities, how about that? The nerve! Now come to the interesting part. Before we wrap up with the mayhem surrounding this revelation, if you have not subscribed to our channel, please do and turn on the notification bell. I am not even kidding, you would not want to miss out on the shocking content we are going to share with you. The Heritage Foundation, a conservative organization, this week asked the Department of Homeland Security to release Harry's visa records. And why, you may ask? Apparently this is Harry's file, and they can't wait to dig up any evidence of Harry's past drug misadventures in there. Come on, we all know this ginger ex-royal has been a naughty boy more than once, by his own admission, and who can forget the naked pics from Vegas? The question ultimately is, did he have it in him to lie about it on his visa form? Indeed, US immigration law is pretty clear on this point. Merely admitting previous illegal drug use, in their mind, will suffice to justify denial of a visa. Therefore, if Harry had disclosed his youthful shenanigans, it begs the question about how he was given the green light to enter the country. Was it only because of his royal status, or did he conveniently forget some of those daring nights? In considering this matter, it is important to explore the wider context. This goes beyond the former prince's social habits and speaks to the transparency and fairness of the immigration system. So if Harry did indeed lie on his application and escaped consequence, what does this tell the thousands who undergo such stringent screening to enter the US and are sometimes denied admission for lesser offenses? More to the point, the Heritage Foundation is on a fishing expedition for these records driven by political theater. This is not just the act of disclosure, this is a well-thought-out move that can affect the political arena for years and make some important personalities a cause of embarrassment and some to do a deep dive on privilege and responsibility that one must embody. Did he confess on the visa application? Well, that would be bloody embarrassing for him, and it casts a pretty uncomfortable shadow over Meghan's woke, socially enlightened image they are so keen to fly the flag for from 6,000 miles away, isn't it? But if he is involved in falsehoods, oh my, you are in the lane of visa fraud. And we all understand the consequences, certain deportation to England, humiliated. Meghan, and at what moment do you think Meghan yelled, "This is a racist hate crime"? As federal agents led Harry away from their $14 million Montecito mansion. It comes after whispers that Harry may have to sell the plush mansion in order to keep his head above water and remain financially stable if his visa issues take a turn for the worse. That is enough to buy all of the privacy hedges and celebrity PR teams to keep up the illusion of morality, right? In other words, if Harry is made to exit the States, will Meghan instead hold down the fort solo in the manner by continuing to promote more kids' books and dole out the occasional Spotify voiceover? Or will she move to UK as an outcast of monarchy with her outrageous prince? Anyway, it seems they are speedily hiring top-end lawyers whose fees are not low. Just a reminder, the visa problem appears to be karma finally undoing Harry and Meghan after so many years of feigning moral higher ground and indefinitely attacking the family they pretended to hate the most. It's like they forgot that Harry is still a British citizen who needs Washington's approval to live and work in the country. If Harry does leave the USA, it could spell big consequences for the couple. This is because their entire brand is based around their American dream, and if the country they are from failed so badly at integrating with the celebrity culture that fuels their way of life, perhaps they would be exposed to the naked reality of their naked privileged glory. This might mean that their highly lucrative deals at Netflix, Spotify, and with publishers would need to be renegotiated, or even cancelled. Concealing that trademark Hollywood charm from a distance is harder than it looks after all. Picture the media circus to ensue, paparazzi camped out of the Montecito compound documenting every sob, every hurried suitcase pack and every visit to lawyers. If anything, Meghan, who has crafted an image of herself as a victim of constant media scrutiny, may be about to attract an even more unrelenting gaze. Their sons Archie and Lilibet? Would they end up in the United Kingdom, forced to start over again, possibly wrapped up in an international custody battle? Or would Meghan put up a battle to keep both in the US, leveraging every legal and emotional plea she could? The report follows a crop that could, unlike his recent predecessors, well devolve into a volatile political issue. Harry's situation might represent both sides of the coin in a time of close scrutiny and discussion of immigration policies. Backers would beg for mercy, pointing to the good works and, relative, clean-cut image, while others might say this is the ultimate example of star privilege. Overall, this visa fiasco could tarnish their name big time. The Sussexes have made their stand as social justice and equality campaigners. Scandals like this weaken their message, exposing them as hypocrites with a tale to tell, as if they were playing by another rule of the game. However, the fallout from this visa tussle could alter the course for Harry and Meghan in the long run. Be it the surfacing of later life stories for the first time in the US or that return back to British territory, it is clear that public interest in all things Harry and Meghan will only intensify. The planet will be watching through its lens and listening to what it does, what it says, that the options it takes during this new problematic moment. One would have thought, after having had the guts to shut down power to the electric grid, that they would make sure they stayed on the straight and narrow as far as the tangled web of regulations in our government is concerned. Although rules have never been their strong point, have they? At the end of the day, it seems the only relevant motto they have ever lived by was essentially, rules are for others, not for us. The two have cashed in on Harry's royal links, landing multi-million-dollar business contracts and a $100 million media deal together. Meanwhile, they are still out there dragging the same monarchy that made them famous. Do you realize how rampant the hypocrisy is, though? With that in mind, here are some fascinating hypothetical storylines to entertain. How about if Harry was found guilty of visa fraud? Federal authorities would either be waiting to arrest him when he indulges in the $18 million mansion renovations. Or they could take their shot lurking in behind during one of Meghan's showboating royal light photo ops with her socially forward Biscophile buds. To think that federal agents could handcuff a weeping Harry in front of a screaming Meghan is just mind-boggling. The inevitable memes and how they would blow up all over the internet. I might even be tempted to get a professional line waiter to ensure a seat in the front row at the bizarre courthouse drama. As much as I am really entertaining this grand collapse of these entitled royals, the slightest part of me does sympathize with the guy Harry. Remember, this is, or was, an absiring young man who never knew how to dress, and thought he might dabble in the Afghan war, only to soon face the iniquities of this world. Harry's journey has thus far been full of fairly major missteps and controversies, even factoring in his position and privilege. His efforts to step back from the monarchy have been fraught with public and private problems. No one ever asked for the media shizzle to get involved, and the continued public perception of you anyway was probably not a great place to be for anyone who puts a foot wrong in public and for all intents and purposes. And it also should not go unnoticed the experiences went through by Meghan herself. Her story has its own weight, through which it is relayed how, in attempting to recklessly upend tradition, sneeringly sneer at the palace press, she may not have been right, but she is not entirely wrong either. The development follows the decision of the couple, who have 2 young children, to seemingly want to protect their mental health and give them a sense of normal life. However, Harry and Meghan who has done things, it does not stop being placed under a microscope. They are, the nearly, eternal bad guys of another ongoing tale. This hard truth reveals the complications surrounding fame, family, and individual agency. Without the need to shy away from their faults, it is also important to keep that human element you rarely see beyond the headlines. Flawed and uninformed as they may be, this is a couple venturing into new territory to carve out a new life and project new identities past the umbra of the crown. This difficult path for them should also evoke sympathy. Ever since Meghan Markle appeared into the royal limelight, people were quick to judge her motives. She was not interested in the traditions and duties of the royal, everything she did was for gain of her own, she just wanted to raise her profile and make as much cash as she possibly could at the cost of the rest of the royals. Her controversies, as well as some controversial moves, have brewed drama and discomfort within the royal family. If Harry gets deported, Meghan could turn it into a racism conspiracy against herself and excuses will be made. Given Meghan's devious nature, it seems quite plausible she might have induced Harry to be misleading on his visa forms, probably prepping him to play the race card if necessary. It is just another chapter in their controversial long story. Columnist Dan Wooten writes Meghan's manipulative behavior riles me, and makes her and Harry a laughing stock as they keep leeching off the royal family while complaining about their freebies. They have completely misjudged their efforts to draw sympathy and lagging in favor of further ridicule over respect. They also share much of the British public, whose goodwill has been squandered to the extent that Harry's father, King Charles, and brother, Prince William, are said to be appalled. The rift with their family which they now have is a direct consequence of their own actions. The pair of royal outcasts both appear doomed by the visa fraud allegations against Harry, whether true or not. The students were once top prospects, but now teeter on the brink of collapse, their reputations in tatters. Their public image has changed markedly in the aura, the pull, reduced to far less than what it was. But as we witness this obvious meltdown in real time, all I can say is, popcorn anyone? It looks like this real-life royal drama is finally playing out. These developments promise to be more riveting than any soap opera, and royal watchers and normal folk alike will be tuning in. Let me know what you think, let us know in the comments how you feel about it. Catch all these shocking stories and scandals in the rest of our latest video on YouTube. But fear not, we are just as committed as ever to feeding you the juiciest royal headlines. Be sure to find the Royal Insta on like, share, subscribe to keep up with all things royal. Thanks for following along, and be sure to catch us in the next installment for all the juiciest updates on the royals. Goodbye for now.